Joining me now, former Secretary of State, Fox News contributor Mike Pompeo. Great to see you this morning.
Good morning, Dagan. Good to be with you.
Based on what you've heard from President Biden, how weak are we in terms of facing the China threat?
Well, Dagan, if you listen to his rhetoric, we'd be fine, but you and I both know this is likely to be an empty promise. There's no evidence in the record that this administration is prepared to truly confront China. And when you hear language like competitor, we compete with the United Kingdom, we compete with Belgium, we compete with our friends and allies around the world. The Chinese Communist Party has declared war on the American worker. They did this years ago, and President Trump was the first leader to take this on, and our administration went full throttle to push back against this adversary. They want to steal our jobs. They've stolen our intellectual property. They're inside the gates conducting espionage here in the United States, even in our senior-most elements of our research institutes. This is a conflict that the Chinese Communist Party has brought on us, and we need to use the enormous American economic power to confront it on every front.
And one of the issues is that we're giving up that power by taking a axe to our energy sector. The climate promises out of this administration, the first day on the job, Joe Biden kills the Keystone XL pipeline, this climate promise on emissions reductions when we are already, as a nation, at the lowest emissions per capita since 1950. China continues to build coal-fired power plants, enough to power the whole of Germany. So, again, this is not just jobs here and prosperity here, but it is economic strength and strength on the world stage in terms of our energy production. And we're giving it all away and handing communist China the keys to the kingdom.
Dagan, I described the United States decision to re-enter the Paris Climate Accords as the most enormous gift to General Secretary Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese Communist Party, that you could possibly have given him. When I traveled the world, American energy independence, the capacity for us to deliver into Europe, into Asia, into even the Middle East, American energy was an important tool in our diplomatic kit. It gave America enormous capacity to influence how America was seen in the world. And so to hand that back, to give up this American energy independence when, in fact, China is dependent for importation for their petroleum projects in excess of 70% of their energy needs, this is an enormous mistake. This will undermine American security for people all across our nation.
And as John Kerry has said, we could take our emissions to zero in this country and it wouldn't make a difference. So why do it? And speaking of John Kerry, there are Republican lawmakers who are calling for an investigation into the climate change special envoy, John Kerry. He's accused of sharing Israeli military plans with Iran's foreign minister when he was serving as Secretary of State under President Obama. And Maria asked former President Trump about those allegations yesterday. Listen to this.
Iran wanted to make a deal so badly, but John Kerry was telling them, in my opinion, don't make a deal. We'll make you a sweetheart deal if we win. And that is a violation at the highest levels of the Logan Act. And you know, a lot of people are calling for his resignation, and they're calling for a lot more. I mean, what he did is totally illegal.
Secretary Pompeo, I find it very strange. John Kerry has always been cozy with Iran and had a weird animosity, if you will, toward Israel. But now he's the climate czar. And so the weaker we are in terms of our energy production, the more power it hands to Iran as well, a nation that wants to wipe us off the map. What's going on here?
It's an enormous head-scratcher, Digging. It is unexplainable to tie up what we were talking about with China. With respect to China, they put the Green New Deal ahead of America first. That's an enormous security mistake. It impacts not only China, but as you now said, Iran. What Secretary Kerry did in attempting to undermine the maximum pressure campaign, a campaign that was working, we denied Iran the capacity to ship its crude oil. We took their foreign exchange reserves from $123 billion down to $4 billion, 96% reduction in their foreign exchange reserves. All the while, John Kerry was telling them, just hang on for a few more months, and we'll be back in and we'll cut you a sweetheart deal. And in fact, that's what is happening. In Vienna today, the administration is about to cut a deal with the Iranians that will present enormous risks to our friends and allies, the Israelis. It presents risks to America and the Arab states as well. It's a mistake to go back into this deal with the world's largest state sponsor of terror, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and they're about to do it, Dagan.
It just leaves all of us shaking our heads. I want to get Secretary Pompeo, I want to get your reaction to this. President Biden has said in an interview with NBC, the U.S. economy is recovering fast because of Biden's investments. So I think a response to that might be lining up Pinocchios from D.C. all the way to Butte, Montana, because the economy is recovering because of, well, the vaccine and investments. It was about $4 trillion funneled into the economy last year. What do you say to that?
Dagan, that's just silly, and it's political, and it's factually wrong. I'm happy to sign up for putting some of the Pinocchios out in Kansas myself. It's this recovery is taking place because under President Trump, we got rid of regulation. We had motivated people to invest. We put people back to work. There were more jobs than job seekers for a good part of the Trump administration. And then Warp Speed. Warp Speed delivered a historic vaccine, something that the whole world, including the Washington Post, the producer of those very Pinocchios, said couldn't be done. That's why the economy's coming back now. I think you heard President Biden this week speak to Congress talking about all the things that are likely to be very destructive to the United States economy, building a bigger government at the expense of American workers. This will be disastrous for the American economy in the months and years ahead.
I called it that Biden delivered a declaration of dependence. Vast new entitlement programs not based on work and with really no way. It's a government takeover of even more of our economy, our lives, and our livelihoods. That's how I phrased it. But just quickly, how much of these ideas do you think actually get through Congress?
Boy, I hope very few. I hope people all across America, frankly, from both political parties. If you're a union worker who was building that pipeline, if you're a manufacturing job and you're a Democrat sitting out in Arizona or Nevada or Texas where the American border is now being torched and allowing folks to come across it in ways that'll depress wages, whatever political party you ought to move to stop this big government takeover. We've seen this before, Dagan. We saw this in the Obama administration. The American people responded. I am confident that they'll respond again and demand that we don't go to something that looks like a European welfare state.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, former Secretary of State, great to see you this morning. We'll see you soon.
Dagan, great to be. Thank you, ma'am. So long.
Take care.